guys, so this is Blessing Njoh, also known as Mrs. Ajim, as you know, and today I'm standing right in the Scientology building. You might have heard about the Scientology Church, but you probably do not know in depth what it's all about. Just like me, I've been here before, but I really don't know all the basic principles that are involved in this whole concept called Scientology. But I have someone here who is willing to show me around.
Well, hello, my name is Gerbrik and I am doing the public relations for the Church of Scientology. It is a church, it's a religion. Basically, Scientology is a method for spiritual growth, and I'm going to show you around in the building and tell you a little bit more about what Scientology is.
Okay, so for how long have you been part of this whole church?
Me, I'm already in Scientology for over 30 years now.
Oh, okay.
I started when I was 25, so you can sort of count how old I am now.
I know, okay. But what drew you to Scientology? How did you even come in contact with Scientology?
Well, ever since I was a kid, since I was young, I was always looking for answers and answers about life. What are we here for? What is the meaning of all this life? Where do we go after death? Why are people more intelligent than other people? These kind of questions I had. And I was always looking for something, but I didn't know what. So when I found Scientology, that I thought, well, that's it. Yeah.
And for how long has this church, can I call it a church? For how long has it been in existence?
The church, well, the first churches were founded in the 50s, so 1950. Wow. It's quite young religion. And because it's so different than any other religion, a lot of people don't understand it. And if you can compare it to any other religion, it would come closest to Buddhism.
Buddhism, okay.
Yeah. Just like in Buddhism, we believe that we have lived before and that we will go on living after death and come back in another body, so reincarnation, that's what we believe. And but as it is very new and very different, it's hard to compare it to anything else.
All right, so just show us around and let's see what we need to know about the church.
Okay, good. Well, let's start in the information center. So here we have an information center. This is on the ground floor. So people who walk by and are interested and want to come in, they just come in. It's for free and you can just sit here for a few hours or whatever, how long you like, and then look at films and pictures, and we have basic books here that you can buy. But basically this whole information center tells you all about what Scientology is, who our founder is, and also how it started, because Scientology did not start as Scientology as such. It started with a book. This book it started with.
Written by a man called...
Ron Hubbard.
Yeah.
It's this is the DVD of the book, but this is Dianetics, and this is a method to relieve yourself from past trauma in your life, so that it doesn't bother you anymore. And this method became very, very popular. So a lot of people started practicing it in the United States, and there was more and more demand for it. But Ron Hubbard was always looking for more answers and for more. He wanted to find out more, and then he did more research, and then he came onto the subject of the human soul, because beyond the mind, apart from the mind, there's something else which can influence you as a being, and then he found out that there's another factor involved, which is the spirit.
Okay.
And then it became a spiritual thing, and then he called it Scientology. Scientology basically means, it comes from the word skio, which means knowing, and ology is to study how to know. So it basically means knowing how to know. And Scientology is about knowing how to know yourself. Who are you as a spirit, and what is the spirit? And that's the whole subject of Scientology.
How many registered members does this church have?
It's very hard to say. I think we would have about, we're still growing. I think we would have about 500 members now who are coming here very regular.
From the Netherlands?
From the Netherlands, but in the Netherlands there may be a few thousand members.
Okay. Alright, you guys, so if you still want to know more, stay tuned. Do not go anywhere. Keep watching.
So here we have all the panels with different subjects.
Yes.
And maybe it's best if I show you, have a seat, a small film
I feel like I'm in a private cinema right now. It feels so good.
Scientology contains tools and methods to assist you in finding your own answers to life's questions, your own truths about your life and you. But who are you? You have a body. You have a mind. You are a thing. For the subject of Scientology is you.
Okay.
So, does that, how do you say that? Did you get that? Do you have any questions?
No, I don't have. I think it's quite clear, and how it started, like when you say this is my hand, this is my leg, it is something you have, and it's really true, because it doesn't define you. It is not you.
Exactly.
So there is more to you than what we see.
Yeah.
So I think that really resonates.
Yeah. And then what that you is, that is what Scientology is about. Yeah. Because that you cannot see or touch. I mean, it is like the soul, the human soul. If you would define it as a soul, you cannot touch it, right? So, and that's what Scientology is about.
The real you.
The real you.
Yeah.
And then you also in relationship with the world, with other people, with the universe, with everything.
Okay.
And then, because if the more aware you become of you also become aware of the potential that you have. And so in Scientology you can increase your own potential and become more in control of everything you do in life.
Okay, so that is what you guys teach us here, or teach people here, to be more conscious and more aware of who they are.
Yeah.
Is that a basic core principle of Scientology?
You could say it like that.
So where next do we go?
Well, we have different campaigns because Scientology is not only about you, but also about, as I said, as we believe that we come back to this world after we die, and that we come back as a new person. We want to leave the world behind in the best shape as possible. So we do a lot of things for the world as well. So we have campaigns, humanitarian campaigns to help the world. Okay. And we have different campaigns. We have this, for example, is the Way to Happiness campaign. And it's a campaign to give you, to show you what kind of morals you should have in order to lead a happy life. And there are 21 precepts. And if you follow these precepts, yes, you will lead a happier life.
Because you mentioned that Scientology is closest or most similar to Buddhism.
Right.
But here I see you have 21, how do you call them?
Precepts.
Precepts. And in Christianity, of course, we have the 10 Commandments.
Exactly.
So there are similarities, but what is the main difference between Scientology and other religions?
Well, then you have to know a little bit about how to position religions. Because you have, like, if you talk about Christianity or Catholicism, these, or the Islam even, these are religions who have a God image. There's a God, whether how they call it is Jesus, it's Allah, it's God, that's a God. Then you have on the other side, you have more the Eastern religions who are more like religious philosophies, like Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism. That's a different type of religion. And Scientology would fit under those.
There is no God.
No God figure. We do believe there is, we would call God, we would call it sort of an infinity force, because there is definitely something, but what that something is not defined really in Scientology.
Yeah, because actually that is something I find very remarkable. I remember the first time I came here, I was told also that a lot of Christians come here, Muslims come here. It doesn't really matter what religion you have.
Exactly. You sort of get a different look on the world, and you make it your own. Yeah. So it's not like you have to believe this or it is like this. No, Scientology sort of invites you to look at life in a different manner. And then you notice things differently about life, and then you make your own conclusions. So you learn as you go, and you start to know more and more.
Okay, so it's not like if you don't do it, you get punished.
No.
So
It's very free actually. It's very much okay. Make up your own mind, make up your own opinion, but you get information, and then you read it and you make it your own. That's the way to happiness. And I'll show you a very funny one. And for example, these are the precepts and they have been filmed. This one is very funny.
Was it the same man getting all those slaps?
Yeah. So we have some more humanitarian campaigns, like our human rights campaign, which teaches about the awareness of human rights, what human rights are, and it is based on the Universal Declaration for Human Rights. Okay. Then we have here drugs program. We do drugs education about what drugs do to your body, not to forbid drugs, because you cannot forbid. If you forbid something, children will automatically, or teenagers will automatically like it, right? They want to try it. But we do think you need some proper education on what drugs do to the body. And this is about our Association for Better Living and Education, which handles about a method for study. We have a very, very good study technology because Hubbard, our founder, found out that people have difficulties, many people have difficulties with study. So he developed a method that you can study anything. There are 3 reasons why people have difficulties with study.
And those are?
Only 3 reasons. The most important one is that you don't define the words, that you start reading. Do you ever have had that you were reading a book and that when you came to the end of the page that you thought, well, I'm very sure I read everything, but I can't remember what I just read? Yeah, well, we all have that, right? Well, if that happens to be the case, you have to go back in the text and find a word that you crossed that you didn't fully understand. Because it's always a word that you didn't understand which makes you go blank. And then you can't study. And then you think you're stupid, but you're not stupid. You just have to define the words. So that's one of the principles. And if you want to know more, you should do the course. But it's really interesting. And we all know Tom Cruise, right? Yes. Well, Tom Cruise he came into Scientology on the study method because he was dyslexic in his younger years. And his mom introduced him to a Scientologist who helped him with a study method of Ron Hubbard. And that's how he became interested in more and more, and why he became a Scientologist. Then the last thing I'm going to show you in the information center, which is interesting, is that we have our own Scientology TV network.
Where are they based, or where is the TV network based?
In Los Angeles. And because the thing is, there are many stories about Scientology, but nobody really tells what we are and who we are. So Scientology thought, okay, let's make our own TV network, so people can go to our network and watch the shows and find out what Scientology is. If you just Google Scientology TV, you can watch it on the internet. Okay. So here is where people can do a test. That's usually how they start. Because if they want to know more about themselves, then you start with a test, a personality test. And once you have done the test, then you usually get an advice what course would be best for you to take. Okay, do you do the test before you become a Scientologist, or what's the idea? The idea is to find out what areas in life you should handle. Yeah, but at what point do you do that? Well, you can do it anytime. Anytime, yeah. You can do it before going on course, but if you already know what course you want to do, you can also start a course. Okay. So there are several course rooms. I'm just going to show you an empty one. Wow. It's like a spiritual college, Scientology. But it's different than any other college because there's not a teacher in front who is going to tell you what to think or going to lecture, but you do courses in your own time.
Okay.
So we have several courses. We have courses, these are courses to handle things in your life. This is about how to have a successful marriage. This one is about how to gain self-confidence. We have a very nice communication course, success through communication. Then we have how to improve your relationships with others. You see we have it in different languages. This one's also a very nice one, how to motivate yourself.
So
but this is the basic.
Yeah.
This is the beginner courses.
Yeah.
But Scientology is about what I said, spiritual development. So if you have the basics in order, then it's time to move on spiritually. And those courses you do upstairs on the second floor.
Yeah. And then when you're done with all the courses, what happens? Is that the point when you really become a Scientologist?
You are a Scientologist when you feel you are a Scientologist. There's no specific time when you, or that you have to do something. You can call yourself a Scientologist anytime.
So the courses only help you to really improve on yourself in certain areas of your life.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so now we go to the second floor. Well, we have the more advanced courses. This is a picture of our spiritual headquarters in America, in Florida. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful building. This is where the really advanced levels are being delivered. And then here we have our Qualification Department, because we call Scientology a technology, because there's a whole technology how to do certain things. And if you do it exactly like that, it always works.
Okay.
But sometimes, I mean, we're all human, so sometimes we tend to make a mistake, or we have misduplicated something. And therefore we have a qualification department. So if you start to make some mistakes, then you are sent over here to restudy some of the materials to get it back on track and on how you should apply it. Okay. And then in here we also call this the library. We also have all the books. So whatever you need to restudy, you can find the books here.
Yeah. Actually, I find this quite remarkable because I can remember the last time I saw books like this, because everything now is done online, and it really feels good, you know, to get to see books again.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of growing up, going to the library, and
Yeah.
great.
And apart from books, we also have a lot of tapes. So we go now to the third floor, and on the third floor is where the spiritual sessions happen.
Okay. Are you going to describe to us what they entail?
If you want, I can do that.
Yes, I want.
You want to know everything, right?
Sure. And I believe my viewers also want to know a lot about this church.
So this is the third floor. We walk into the waiting area, where people are waiting to go into session.
Okay.
So here is where they wait. They report there, they say I'm here, I'm ready, and then they wait for the auditor.
Okay.
The person who takes you in session is an auditor.
Okay.
An auditor comes from the word audir, which means to listen. So an auditor is just a person who listens
To you.
to you. The auditor is asking you a question,
Okay.
and you respond to that question.
And what kind of questions could those be?
On many subjects. If you handle a past trauma, it will be about that. But it can also be if you want to improve your communication skills. It could also be regarding communication. It can be about many subjects.
Okay. I actually love the living room setting. You know, the vibe, it's really homely.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
Yeah. So we can go in there, but you have to be quiet. It says here, quiet because there's being audited.
Okay, so I am not going to be vlogging as we go in there, but we are going to try to assimilate, you know, are you going to be talking?
Yes.
Okay, we're just going to listen to her and try to assimilate the information she gives us.
Okay, so we're going to walk into an auditing room. So I'll show you what the room looks like. And then when I close the door, I can start talking again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah? Okay.
Good.
So we have 20 auditing rooms and they all look like this.
Okay.
So they all look the same. And when you do a session, this is where the auditor is seated,
Okay.
and that is where the person who
Yeah.
is being audited is seated, like you, for example. Then the session is using this meter, which is called an E-meter. E is standing for electronic meter.
Okay.
You would actually you would have those in your hands. You would just hold them very gentle in your hands, just like that, and they would be attached to the meter.
And what does the meter measure?
The meter measures mental charge. Yeah. So suppose I ask you, do you like cookies? And you like them a lot. I could get a reaction on the meter which shows me that you like them a lot.
So I don't have to say it, so the meter
Yeah,
measures.
you would say yes or no, but you could, but the meter will also show what your mental reaction is to that subject. But if I would ask you about a painful incident, like have you ever experienced a loss in your life, or did you ever lose a pet, and you lost a pet and you had a lot of grief about that, for example, I can see on the meter that there is mental charge on that.
Oh, okay.
And then we only use the meter for that purpose, to find out areas that are charged,
Yeah.
and then we know that we have to address those areas.
It almost sounds like a lie detector test.
Yeah, but the difference is we are not looking for lies, we are just looking for charged areas.
Okay, so the auditor collects the data
Yeah.
from this session and then he uses it to...
Then the data goes to another person, we call that a case supervisor, who sets up a program, who knows exactly what kind of questions the auditor should ask the next session.
Okay.
And then you do that in your next session, and then you always do it to a point of relief.
Yes.
In the end you feel, wow, very relieved,
Yeah.
because you found out something about yourself, your own truth.
Yeah, so it's almost like talking to a therapist or a psychologist.
You could compare it to that. The only thing is that we use this e-meter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now we go to the fifth.
That's the last
That's
floor.
the last floor. So here we have our Purification Center. You don't have any people here?
I just finished.
Oh, you just finished. This is Julian.
Hello. Blessing. Good to meet you.
Julia.
Julian is in charge here.
What we're doing here is basically delivering the pure. You start
Warm up your body.
first running for like if you take nice and then can nicely go through the body.
Yeah, can I get on it?
Sure. Can even turn it on for you if you want to. Hey, go ahead.
Raise me up. Okay. I've not been to the gym in, I don't know, 3 years. So this was my opportunity.
And then after once in a while, because the body becomes very warm, we have here showers
Okay. Oh, wow.
to cool down. It's not really nice right now, but you can see it. And you just take a cold shower.
Yes.
It's for the men, and there's for the other side is for the women.
Yeah. Okay, so the purpose of this
It's a
Floor.
detox the body.
to cleanse your body physically.
Exactly, and then what happens is that it also it removes toxic residues in your fat tissues, because it gets stored in your fat tissues, and then because that is removed in your brain, there's also a lot of fat, and then your brain also automatically becomes much clearer, and you can think more clearly.
Thank you for the information.
Sure.
I have the last bit to show you. We have another cafe here, where students can relax in between courses. Hi, Shana. And then in Over here we have our fabulous rooftop.
So this actually is very beautiful. You can see the skyline of Amsterdam from
Exactly.
here.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you so much for your
You're
time.
welcome.
Thank you for the information. Thank you for walking us all over the building. I think I know a bit more now. I think it's more clear because, yeah, initially I would just come here and I'll be on the ground floor. I think the most impressive part of this trip for me has been the third floor where we had the auditors.
section,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you all guys so much for watching. I hope that you all now have a little more, idea about what this church or the concept behind it is all about. It's really simple, right?
Right.
It's quite simple, it's quite basic, but it's also very logical. But of course, there are so many things that happen. They have to really teach you things. You have to go through sessions, purification sessions for your physical body. And there's just so much more, but I cannot give you all the information. She has tried as much as possible to really give us a glimpse about what we can, expect or what we should know basically. So if you want to know more, she already said go to Scientology TV and you find a load of information there. So once again, thanks for watching and I'll catch you guys on my next video. Bye.